Well, what inspired me to write this book? I think it's a very difficult question. Because if you ask me the question, what makes you breathe? There's no answer for that. It's part of your living. You cannot live without breath. So is Sri Aurobindo for me a living breath. So it's not that I thought of doing this and thought of writing this. It so happened, actually, the genesis is like this, that a year back, Sakar had planned to give some series of talks. And I took up this venture of giving series of talks on all the major books of the Arya. There were the 9 books that all of you know. And I had 1 hour talk, each one was 1 hour. And then to put the substance of a book, not a chapter or a thought, the life divine, the synthesis, the human cycle, the future poetry, it was a Herculean task and something that people should not even dare to do. But somehow I took it up as a challenge and I said, here is what I challenged the mother, saying, can you do that for me? Put something in a nutshell? Because humanly it was not my venture, not my adventure, not my courage. So there I was, sitting down to see what is it. And the most important thing that I found was there are so many different things, different books. But essentially it is Sri Aurobindo and his experience. So what is magnificent about all his books is that there's some experience. The life divine, it has the 4 major spiritual experiences. Essays on the Gita, his contact with Sri Krishna, about his Indian culture, about his, the foundations of Indian culture. Everywhere he has brought out his experiences and expressed them in rational terms. So I said I should go beyond the book and catch his experience. And it is which experience has been expressed in which book. That is where my effort was, how to link up the experience and the book. Otherwise, it is not possible to summarize any book. There are thousands of ideas. So that was the first challenge. And obviously, as I said, it had to be her grace. My mental audacity would not have worked out. So that's the first question, Sudha. Secondly, now as I went giving these talks, my team at Sakar, they had the beautiful transcription, editing and all that. Then I said, let me bring it out in the form of a book, because being the 150th anniversary, we wanted Sakar to bring out something as a homage to Sri Aurobindo. While I was doing that, I had not yet planned anything about it, there drops in my friend Raghavan, Dr. Raghavan. One fine afternoon, she says, are you Dr. Reddy? I said, yes. Can I come to your office? I said, please welcome. And during a conversation, he says, we at IGNCA are wanting to celebrate Sri Aurobindo by a book. I said, here is a manuscript almost getting ready. So I was wondering, Mother, what are you trying to do? Here is the book which is almost complete, and here is a man who is eager to publish it. So I told Raghavan, please give me 2 months to finish it. Because you see, in the initial stages, I had not completed the books. And there is the role of a wife who rightly or wrongly pesters you to finish something. And she said, look, Anand, you have not done your future poetry in the talks, so better take up future poetry. Take up the foundations. Finish that. And as I was finishing all those 9, then I said, what about the 10th one, the Savitri? I mean, what the mother says, the message is the real message, rest is all a preparation. I said, I would not be doing my duty and work if I don't write on Savitri. Because that is the real message, rest is all a preparation. I mean, to tell you frankly, it was a bit of a shocker for me to know that. But then I had to find out the meaning, why the mother said that. So I said, let me take up Savitri also. So that is how I ventured out into writing on all these 10 books. And there, after a couple of months, I called Raghavan and I said, here it is. And Raghavan did his duty. He went to the director, Dr. Gopal, and Dr. Gopal went to his director, Dr. M.S. Swamin, the member secretary, Sachidananda Doshi in Delhi. And then somehow the word reached the Kishan Reddy Garu, the Ministry of Culture. And there was an okay from all along, right from minister to Raghavan. I said, there it is. It has the sanction of the mother. So I started working, polishing, editing, and all my colleagues are there to help me. And so therefore, the book was ready. But even then, I wanted her blessings. I mean, I've done my part of the job. So I took a dummy of the book, even including the cover, and through the central office at Ashram, I sent it to the mother's room, got her blessings. And that was the end of my journey. And then began the journey of IGNCA to publish it. Well, that's what took a bit of a long time, but as Gopal J told you, it has taken its time. Then it wanted to be at Hyderabad, then at Delhi. And then ultimately I said, maybe the mother wants it to be here. I mean, IGNCA is in Pondicherry. Why are you going to Delhi? And then when it came back to Pondicherry, the obvious choice was, as somebody already told you, Auroville. And then in Auroville, the most significant spot, the name itself tells us, is the Unity Pavilion. And I said, that's a very important signal that we should do things at Unity Pavilion. It's not just the launching of a book, but should also carry the message of unity. So that was a long story. But now, as she asked me very cleverly, the impact of ultimately what I learned from this. Well, that's a bit of a confession. After writing the book, after reading so much, the conclusion that I got to was, Sri Aurobindo is indescribable. His writings are beyond the human mind. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, he is indescribable. He is non-understandable. But what I gained out of all that is, he is adorable. He is just adorable. And as you go along, he is absolutely admirable. You understand or don't understand, but you begin to admire this personality. And after a point, you don't even see the person called Sri Aurobindo. You see more of a consciousness so comprehensive, so vast, so cosmic. And then when you realize that this is a consciousness that has manifested out of his great grace some of these books for our benefit. And what was the thing? You see, I was really happy to see somebody like, most of you know the name Amal Kiran, called him the Mount Everest among the poets of the world. And then you have also heard of the Nalinikanta Gupta. He said Sri Aurobindo is the extraordinary phenomenon. I think Nalinikanta Gupta caught the right word. He's not a person, he's a phenomenon. And there I learned these two new words. But for me personally, he is the great synthesis. A synthesis not of East and West, this and that we can all analyze. But essentially is a synthesis of all the heights of spiritual experiences that the world has, in every religion, whatever the religion may be. And he has synthesized the peak ideas in all the greatest thinkers of the world. So I found that this title of the book, The Great Synthesis, perfectly suits him. Not because of his books or anything, but for me essentially is that. And it is these works that he has really given in those 9 books, in this vision that he has given in these 9 books or 10 books. And there I see that he has given us a new trend of thinking, a new trend of thought, a new vision, a new future. I mean, look at his ideal of human unity, the greatest ideal of human unity. Look at his human cycle, the spiritual age. Look at his foundations of Indian culture. Look at his future poetry. Everywhere it is the prophetic future. And there I see that all these writings are not only a proof of the fulfillment of the great Vedic prayer. Ultimately, I see he is a fulfillment of the Vedic prayer, Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. And if you really want to put all these works into 3 single lines, I put only this Vedic prayer. Be it Savitri or anything, ultimately he is the fulfillment of the Vedic prayer. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma mrityu. So there I realized the greatness, the genius that Sri Aurobindo is. He is a fulfillment of the eternal prayer of humanity. He has pulled us out of this ignorance, darkness, and death and dying. Well, that is not the last sentence I would like to tell about Sri Aurobindo. The more I read Sri Aurobindo, the more I felt I don't know him. I don't understand him. You cannot decipher him. He becomes so large in front of you. It's like you're standing against the Himalayas. You can't describe it anymore. In the beginning, you say, oh, Himalayas is there, it's nice, this is Kanchenjunga, this is Nanda Devi, this is Everest. As you go closer to the Himalayas, you lose sight of the dimension, and you have nothing else but only to bow down at his feet. That's the only way, I think that's the best way and the most effective way to surrender. And not only surrender, in our Indian style, the Sastanga Pranam, you wish to do that, not just do a Namaskaram. You want to do a Sastanga Pranam. And that is the ultimate lesson that I've learned, that there's the only way to approach him is to do a Sastanga Pranam and be eternally grateful to him. Well, that is my inner being, inner call. Externally, when things go beautiful, I think all beautiful people come together to help you. Not only IGNCA came to publish this book. When I wanted to hold a function here, Dr. Ravi Jayanti was very gracious to immediately said, yes, why don't you do it at Unity Pavilion? She immediately called up and arranged fixed for this meeting. So I think when the time comes, the mother takes over, she does all the things. So friends, I see so many of my, as somebody said, we are a family. And somebody said, we are even beyond a family. True. When I come to Auroville, that's my feeling. A lot of time has elapsed between our meetings, sometimes 3 years or 30 years or 40 years. But somehow the original bond which we had with friends at Auroville and at Ashram and at Auroville, Mata Mandir, and Aspiration is still very alive. So thank you, friends, for coming to share with me the joy of reading Sri Aurobindo. Thank you so much.